Welcome to the InJoy podcast, where your new best friends, Shauna and Thevi, share our journeys of joyful discovery.
Join us in a space of bold truth and unfiltered discussion as we discover what it means to thrive.
We welcome you, enjoy, and love. It's been a minute since we recorded because we was rusty on that intro. It's been a little minute. But so I'm glad we're recording today because this is gonna be, we have 2 juicy episodes.
Yes.
So first, today we are discussing the experience of combating jealousy and envy on your journey to joy.
I think this will be very interesting. I have not seen what Thevi has prepared, so I'm excited about this conversation.
So the reason why it came up for me is because I've been on social media lately and seen a couple of clips where people were talking about people being jealous of them. Mm-hmm. And really, it's very hip hop to drop bars about jealousy. It's very hip hop to have haters. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no haters,
it's very urban.
You ain't popping, okay? Yeah. If you ain't got at least 2 what did Cat Williams say? If you ain't got at least 2 bitches mad at you by the summertime, you are not that girl. So when I listened to those clips, I was like, ooh, this is a good topic. So the first clip was, I won't play this for you, but it's the Keke Palmer clip where she talks about jealousy. And essentially what she was talking about is her mama used to say, Keke, these girls are jealous of you. Keke, these girls are jealous of you. Whose mama has said that, your friend is jealous of you. That's why she acting like that.
Yeah, everybody, I feel like every mama has had to say that.
Every single mama has had to say that to their daughter. And when Keke was when I was younger, I never got it. Mm. But now that I'm older, I get, she wasn't talking about they jealous of your features. They jealous of this. They're jealous of your aura. They're jealous of your energy. They're jealous of
you.
Of you, the way you light up a room, the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
Now, the other clip, and we'll play this for you, is a clip from the See the Thing Is podcast with Mandy B and Bridget Kelly. So shout out to See the Thing Is.
Hey, y'all.
And here it is.
The capacity to be happy for you.
Oh, wait, let me start that over for y'all.
A friend who confessed to you that she didn't have the capacity to be happy for you, and that even though she loved you, being around you was painful and she was jealous of what you had. Would you keep her around because you were impressed by her honesty? Or would you recognize that a snake that you ate will always still bite you in the hand and let her go?
There's a way to reward honesty, yes, but there's a way to accept someone being honest and realizing how there's absolutely nothing you can do to change that person no matter how much you love them. Now that I know this, would this fulfill me to maintain this relationship moving forward?
Everyone that you show up for as a friend is not your friend.
Oh, just drag me, okay?
Everybody
I was a guest.
When we talk about envy and we talk about jealousy, 9 times out of 10, the older we get, the less material it is. I know we think it's material,
but
the less material
bars.
it is.
That's bars.
The older we get, the more the envy and the jealousy is around the way people love you, the way people celebrate you, the way people choose to show up for you, worthy of it or not. If people are enveloping you in love and support constantly, that is enough for somebody on the outside to be jealous of that.
You had a friend who could.
So before we even get into defining stuff or anything like that, I got a question for you.
What's up, sis?
Have you ever felt underlying jealousy from someone and they weren't transparent about it? You just felt that that person was jealous of you?
Yes.
What did you do in that scenario? How did you handle that?
I didn't directly handle it. The relationship kind of just fell apart anyway. My best friend will know what I'm talking about. So it was a group of 3 of us in high school. And as we got older, life happens. We all kind of pursued different things, had different things going on. And we were trying to come together because we were just randomly talking. And one of us had an idea about, we should write a book about just collectively share our stories and see where it goes, just being young, how that is. You're we can do things.
Being creative.
Right, being creative, thinking the world is your oyster type thing. And so we were planning it out and trying to, get organized around it. And one day we were on a 3-way call and I was sharing with the both of them okay, I can meet this day. I got this going on, just coordinating. Mm-hmm. She was pissed. She was like, well, I have this going on too, and I can't meet this day. Girl, I got emotional out of nowhere. And so my other friend, who's now we're best friends for real now, was like, what happened?
Yeah.
Neither one of us felt that festering until it came out in that moment. And so it's like I didn't even really have to deal with it because address some underlying, since it's like it's there. We both knew it was jealousy. She acting weird. Now I could just deal with the fact that how she handled it was a problem and end the friendship based on that.
So how could you tell before her blow up? Like,
it would
what
be
was
little
the signals,
little comments, right, on our three-way, because we were like close friends in high school, so we would get on three-way calls pretty frequently and just catch up with each other. Like,
that's why these three-way friendships do not work. I just want to tell y'all that right now. If you have a three-way friendship with 3 girls, y'all are not the Powerpuff Girls.
Well, the funny thing is, it lasted for a long time. I think
it lasted till Buttercup and Blossom become besties, and Bubbles is in the background like, fuck Buttercup.
No. That's hilarious. No, but the thing is, to answer your question, the thing is, it's something that had happened in college between me and her that she had never let go of.
Ooh.
And so it was resentment and jealousy, right? So it's like that resentment kind of grew into jealousy because the thing that I had, I said something about her in a choice that she made that she just wasn't okay with, and we talked about it. She said she was fine, but she wasn't. And so I think that underlying resentment then became jealousy because she saw me progressing in a way in relation to that situation that she hadn't been progressing. That's my that's my summary of it, but ultimately it came out in different comments. It came out in like we would talk about different things. I think that moment, though, was the moment where I was like, oh, yeah, for sure, it's jealousy.
Yeah.
Up until that point, it was just like sly stuff. And it's like, oh, she still feels some type of way. It's like, no, this is jealousy. Like, you're just mad. Yeah. You're just mad because I got stuff going on and you don't. Or
I'm glad you worded it that way because it was like, I was going to ask you, like, what was she jealous of? And I think oftentimes what we don't talk about in our dynamics, that we'll think somebody is just jealous of like our beauty and jealous of our essence. People also be jealous of our journey.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, we both struggled. We both had like issues and shit. I might have even struggled more than you struggled.
In a particular area.
Yeah. And I still made sure I came out on top because I was making the right decisions. It's like they resent their own decisions, and so they resent you for making the right decisions
or different
decisions, which is like a form of jealousy. So
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one for sure.
Because that's a similar thing that I feel like has happened to me. Like I've felt jealousy from family members and from former friends in the realm of like simply because I made different choices than they made. And I can't, because like I don't use my life as an excuse. Never going to use my life as an excuse.
Yeah, okay.
Always about being accountable, right? So like if I fall down, I'm going to get back up. Like I'm not going to let like one thing derail my whole life or like blame somebody else for it. And in a world of people who are not accountable, it now like to see your growth, to see your hustle. Oh, hustle. Another thing people be jealous of.
But I think that, hustle for sure. I think another part of it too, when you're looking at somebody's journey, is acknowledging the fact that even if you don't make the right choices, sometimes the amount of faith that you have, the people that you have around you, the way that life is intending to take you on a certain path of your destiny, that you could have made all the right choices and still not been. It's like sometimes it's really just that. Like your path in life is destined to be different than theirs.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do about that?
And people will still compare their path to somebody else's path. And it's like, that's not making sense.
Exactly. It's like, it's never going to make sense.
We're two different people. It's not making sense.
And the standards should be different.
Absolutely.
I think that it's like you're trying to use the same standards for my life and my journey for your own. Like, we're two completely different people.
Yeah.
And as you know from astrology, there's so much that goes into
facts.
What makes your personality.
The makeup of who you are. Like, it's...
So I'm going to use the same measurement? Like, I'm going to use the same stick to measure yours and mine? Like, no, that doesn't make sense.
If we go from astrology, human design, personality tests, like Myers-Briggs, 9 personalities,
gender,
who you have around you, race, your back, like
it's too many factors.
Things, how could we compare our journeys to each other?
It's too many factors, bro.
So, okay, my next question for you is: have you ever had someone be honest with you about being jealous of you?
I have.
What did that look like?
And I'll shout out to her if she ever hears this. We're not friends for different reasons, but I had a friend come to me, I want to say last year. And because of where she was in her life and her journey, like she had made the choice to go to to like further her education. So she's in like a PhD program, and as everybody who's taking that journey knows, like it's a whole nother level of sacrifice, especially when you in your early 30s and you're trying to like navigate all these other avenues of life. You're having to sacrifice things. But yeah, she was real candid, and we had that kind of relationship and, you know, that kind of friendship where she was willing to be honest and open about things and vice versa. And she was just straight up like, I'm jealous of my friends right now, including you. Like, I look at your life and I feel like that's where I should be. But I, you know, it's like, and I'm frustrated with where I am in my graduate program and feeling like, you know, I want things to move quick. She was just very transparent about like, yeah, I'm feeling that right now and I'm going to process it. And I don't want it to impact our friendship, but I have to be honest about that's what I'm experiencing. And I had so much love and respect for her for that. Like, yeah, and we were able to navigate through it, right? It was like, okay, how you feeling? You know, like, are certain things triggering you? Or do you want me to not share certain things right now? Because it was like she was navigating a deeper emotional experience around the jealousy, which is why I think she's able to be honest about it. Versus, I think, kind of what she touched on in the clip. Is some women, or some, I mean, not say women, some people, they're navigating that journey from a place of superficiality, of like, how does my life look, and not necessarily what is this experience trying to help me become. And I think that friend took it as the latter. Like, I'm feeling jealousy. Oh, okay, this is time for me to tap in spiritually. Like, what is this trying to teach me? And I knew that's what she was navigating, so we were able to still.
So because she did the work, it didn't cause you to
I could be
look
compassionate.
At her a different way.
I could be compassionate to her because she was honest and transparent. She was willing, like you said, to be accountable and do the work related to, like, it wasn't like I'm jealous and I'm just going to be jealous, or you got to change what you got going on. You know, like, it wasn't that. It was, do what you do. I'm proud of you, but this is what I'm feeling right now.
Did it come back up again in the future?
Nope.
Good.
Aside from like her journey in terms of growing through it, no, I didn't. That's why I was like, I was mad proud of her. Like, that was a very mature moment very in our friendship. Yeah. I was sad when that friendship ended, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shout out to her.
I know.
I've had somebody be honest with me, but they took a different route. They were honest with me and then immediately needed space from me so that they could figure out their emotions. So they didn't want to do the work with me. Okay. They wanted to do the work away from me.
How did that impact the friendship?
It impacted it because, like, then that triggered in me that I was doing something wrong. Because, right, we're not having a deeper emotional conversation about it. It's just, you know, I'm jealous of you. I can't figure it out, so I need some space. Right? And so, like, because we didn't, like, dive deep into it and try to figure it out together, like, it felt like I was being punished for just being me and doing me. I could see that. Right? And so, like, even though, like, we came back together again, it was something that was, like, ingrained in my mind, because then a conversation of jealousy came up again in the future. Okay. And so that, like, it was always ingrained in my mind that, like, oh, if you feel some type of way, your route may be this, like, and which is to, like, take distance, or, like, it made me question, like,
it made you cautious. It made you timid.
It made me cautious. About it. Yeah. It made me, like, look at, like, the friendship, like how much longevity can this have if we can't work through something like this together? Because, like you said, I'm all for transparency. Like, even what they mentioned in the clip, like, if somebody's transparent about it, like, how would you handle it? Like, if you're transparent about it and you really want to sit and talk about it, like, I'm all for being honest and open about your feelings, like, and figuring out how to navigate it together. But in that situation, I kind of felt like I was being punished, so it made it harder for me to figure out, like, it made it harder for me to have compassion.
Okay. I was trying to get to that, because I felt you kind of hinting at it. Yeah. But I'm like, I think it's not just that you want to go through it with them. It's like you want to have an exchange that allowed you to open up to that compassion. Yeah, I got you.
Allow me to understand.
Respond in a way. It gives you the opportunity to respond in a way that is caring and supportive for that person.
Facts. I got you. Allows me to support that person, 100%.
Okay, that's interesting. I like how different our
experience was
with friendships. And now that you, like, before you asked me, I don't think I actually, like, registered that moment with that friend or the latter story. And, like, how powerful it actually was until I just had to, like, describe it when we talked about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't completely, like, you know, to their point, I wouldn't completely, with the snakes in the grass comment, right? Like,
yeah, I felt like that was just an extreme difference in the choice. It was like, oh, would you still be friends with them, or would you see them as a snake? It was just such a judgmental like description of it. Yeah.
But I do kind of feel like, okay, like when somebody reveals their card to you.
But I think what would make somebody a snake in the grass is how they act.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So in the scenario that she gave, she just said the person's acknowledging the jealousy, and it's like, I don't know how to navigate. I think similar to your situation. But they didn't do anything based off that jealousy. So that to me is like, how is it snakes in the grass if this person is not acting in a sneaky way or sabotaging the friendship?
For somebody to do the sneaky
and
thing?
I think that's the like, implied question.
Right? Like, let's say,
do
like,
you wait to see?
Right? Like, let's say you talking to a guy and the guy like up front tells you like, yeah, like I'm a liar and a cheater, but like I'm working on myself and I just want to be transparent with you. Like, it's like,
well, no, saying I'm a liar and a cheater versus I've lied and I've cheated.
Okay.
It was a setup. It was a setup. Now, if they've been like, I've lied and I've cheated and I'm working on it, then I think that's where boundaries come into play. I think the second person on the podcast clip spoke to that before she started to talk about non-superficial.
Bridget,
Kelly. That's her name. Okay. Yeah, where she kind of hinted at that. Of like, you know, they're being transparent, like, let's just kind of see. I think that would be my approach. Like, you just set certain boundaries in place, because like now you see that person for who they is and who they are and what they're struggling with.
Yeah.
So
after that, I feel like, but after that, once you're transparent once, it's kind of like, yeah, we can still navigate the friendship, right? But if we don't have that deeper conversation about what we're going to do about this, like how we could come to a solution or how we could support each other through it.
How we can still be friends.
Yeah. How we can still be friends. Side eye. Bombastic side eye.
Okay.
Like, because it's like,
I don't necessarily
now you watching like that person's behavior around you. Like, if somebody tells you that like they're jealous or envious of you, and you get some good news like the next day, you're not rushing to tell them that.
That's true.
The dynamics of the friendship have now already shifted.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not rushing to tell them that. Like, and when you feel like you have, I feel like when, at least, me.
Speak for yourself. That's the rule at InJoy. Speak for yourself.
When I feel like I have to start holding in my good news around any particular person, family, friend, significant partner, any person, I start to feel like my energy is dwindling because I can't be transparent with you. I can't be real with you.
So you get energy from that intimate, because you've mentioned that a few times. You've not directly said it, but like the intimate connection with the people.
Yes, I love transparency.
Yeah.
I dig transparency like really, really hard. Like,
I don't.
Like, when's the last time somebody said dig?
Really, really hard.
Okay. Like when it comes to, for me, the most important value of any relationship for me is transparency.
Okay.
I feel like I can make it through anything with anybody if we are real with each other. Yeah. But the moment I feel like I got to start hiding pieces of myself from you, and you got to start hiding pieces of yourself from me, like I feel weird around you. Like, and I don't want any relationships where I have to feel weird around you. Like, I'm still working on that. Like, I want to be like those people who are like,
that's what I was gonna say. I think, and I don't think it's a scale. Like, I don't think like, oh, these, like the way that I approach is better than how you approach it at all. I think, like you said, it's a values thing. I think for me, I'm in a season of my life of being able to be fluid and let things, like, recognize I don't really have control, and letting things evolve how they're naturally going to evolve, like trusting beyond what I think they should be. So like maybe the beginning of that relationship or whatever I got from that friendship up until that point was what I needed. And then this is that person's part of the journey to go through whatever they're going through. Like, I'm okay with it transforming. Like, I don't feel like we can't, I'm kind of the opposite of you. It's like, maybe I hold certain things back, but I'll still look for opportunities to engage with that person in a way that's still healthy for me. But it just won't be what it was before.
Yeah.
That's the impermanence of life. I think that's where I'm just in a season of that right now, of acknowledging like impermanence really is real.
Yeah, no, it is.
It really is real. And stuff like jealousy and envy and all these things that we talk about on the podcast of like healing through and working through really is just it's an obstacle, quote unquote, obstacle, but it's really just something to help you grow in a way. Like, I think I was going through our editing for our Thriving episode, and one of the questions, I used it in coaching recently actually, one of the question was, what answer, I think think it was something along the lines of like, what answer is this experience what question is this experience trying to answer in my life? That's kind of the perspective I take with the navigating friendships around like sensitive topics like jealousy and envy and like people changing. It's like, oh, okay, it's trying to express an answer to what's the question? Oh, the question is, how do I continue to love somebody despite this, or, you know, whatever it might be for me.
When I've dived deep, like if we've swam in deep ocean waters
together,
I don't want to be at the surface level of the pond with you.
Understood.
Yeah.
I get that. That's a different,
like I've shared the depths of myself with you. Like,
I opened up
you know
my
what I'm
heart.
saying? Like I opened up my heart, my mind, and my soul. I prayed for you. Like I'm not about to be, oh, hey, girl, do you just want to have drinks?
Dead ass.
No, bitch. I want to talk about what's going on in your life. Fuck is you talking about? Like,
do you just want to have drinks?
Like, no, I don't want to just catch up with you, ho. Like, what's real?
You can't transition that to be superficial at that point. Yeah, it's like, oh, by the way, you know, like
for real. Because now I feel like
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think, but it's like if the relationship is of a certain category, I'm okay with it.
Facts. Yeah. If we was already like,
or if we was just at that line of maybe going,
and now we got to go to the other end. Punk girl, I'm fine with that.
Or we right at the threshold, and then okay, cool, we can let it transition. Cool. Maybe we're gonna be friends in a different way. That's cool.
That is.
But I agree. Fine. I think my like deeply, and I won't speak for you. I'm curious though. Is it because you have few, like the number of those intimate?
Facts.
That's what I was going to say. I think I agree with you because of that. Like once I make the choice to go there, I know it's only, I can count on one hand. And I've invested my resources into this relationship, and that's invaluable. My time, energy, love, all those things are invaluable.
Valuable.
I got you.
I always say, like, it all to the outside world, it looks like I have a lot of friends because a lot of people confide in me because I hold space for a lot of people to confide in me. But the people I confide in count on one hand.
Yeah.
Like the people who I tell my real personal life to, and not the surface level stuff that I would tell anybody. Like, not like, yeah, I had daddy issues growing up. Okay. Like,
we talked about that on the podcast.
I will tell everybody that. That ain't no problem. I'm talking about like the real stuff that like I shed tears in front of you. Handful. And so like friendships like that, dynamics like that.
But that's the thing. I don't think something like jealousy could permeate a relationship like that. That's my point.
It depends on if the person starts acting funny, because we went so deep that like you feeling that type of emotion, that's something that we should be able to come together, figure out how to navigate. Not something that like, because that means you know me. Like, that means you know me. You know how I maneuver. You know how I hold space. Like, that means you know how I...
That's what I would say. To a degree, you take it personally. But I don't mean that in terms of, like, ego.
No,
but
you ain't got to put nothing... I take it personally. Like, you ain't got to, like, put nothing on that. Yeah. I take it personally because you know me. Yeah. Like, so it's kind of like, you know, if you would have came... and told me this, like,
but sometimes I don't think it's always about that.
No, it isn't about that, but that means that we're not at where I thought we were at. And so if we can't take the time to try to work on this now, like, then it's like, and the friendship is going to start looking funny, or you're going to start moving funny. There's only for so long I can be uncomfortable. Yeah. I know a lot of people, like Michelle Obama said she went 7 years uncomfortable in her marriage. Baby, you don't get 7 years of uncomfortability from me.
You get about 90 days.
Bruh. and honest. And in that 90 days,
and the clock is counting down.
Best and believe I'm going to come to you directly to say what's going on. Yeah. If I feel funny stuff, I'm going to come to you directly.
And that's what I was trying to say a second ago. I think sometimes, and I don't know that that's what happened in the example you gave of that friend, but I think sometimes some emotions are so uncomfortable for people, especially if they don't have that intimate relationship with themselves, that it's difficult to try to initially navigate it. However, if you were to come and be like, let's work through this, they might be more open.
100% agree.
But I think stuff like emotions like jealousy make that hard when it comes up, and it's like, well, I don't want to have to be the person to go to you when you jealous of me, you know. And I think it just muddies the water.
Yeah, no, I don't be feeling that way. I
think so. I can see somebody feeling like that. Like,
oh no, I love healthy confrontation.
Yeah.
Love
I know you
healthy,
do.
Yeah, love healthy confrontation.
Yeah.
Like if I feel something's on my chest, it's like, why am I sitting in this? I'm trying to learn how to sit in uncomfortability. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to learn to do. Like, not everything needs to be talked about. Not everything needs to be discussed. But my preference is like, let's just put it out in the open so we can keep it moving. Like, that'd be my thing. But okay, so I want to dive a little deeper into, like, there's a difference between jealousy and envy, right?
What is the difference?
Because we like to use them interchangeably, which, you know, I'm going to continue to use it interchangeably. Me providing this definition is not going to change the fact that I'm going to use this interchangeably. But I do want to provide, like, some insight into what the difference is. So jealousy is a feeling that has to do with something that you have, or whether it's a person, place, or thing, and you feeling like somebody else is trying to take it from you. Right. Okay. So jealousy is something I would say, like, could show up a lot in romantic relationships or relationships, period. Right. Like,
I feel like all of these are just relationships.
Right. So that's why I think we're talking but we're talking about a little bit could, like, touch on envy, but, like, I feel like jealousy comes up, which I've had this happen before, where, like, a friend will be like, I'm jealous of the relationship you have with those other friends.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you feel like those other friends are taking me away from you. Like, they're impeaching on your territory. So it's more, jealousy has more to do with, like, a possession factor.
Okay.
Or being possessive.
And would you say, it sounds like jealousy has a lot to do with entitlement. Like, you feel entitled to that thing. Mm-hmm. And so therefore,
it absolutely has to do with possession.
Okay.
Like, and so which gives me the ick sometimes.
It all is icky.
It gives me, like, so when it comes to romantic, this is weird. When it comes to romantic relationships, it doesn't give me the ick.
Jealousy doesn't, or
jealousy does not give me the ick.
Yeah, because
I totally get.
But we talked about that.
I like my romantic partner a little possessive. Right?
Yeah, so it's like it's not going to be.
But when it comes to my friendships,
you don't
hate
like
it.
Yeah.
Don't be possessive of me in a friendship, because the fact is, I have a lot of friends.
But that's a very
air friendly person. Facts, right? Like, I'm just a friendly person. Like,
versus your moon sign, your Venus is gonna drive how you deal with relationships.
And my Venus is in Scorpio. You know, Scorpios love jealousy.
And mine is Pisces, so it's like all watery up in there.
So then for envy is a feeling that occurs when you don't have something that another person has. So what you experienced in your friendship, where that friend was like, they're jealous of the space that you were in your life, that was envy.
Yeah.
And so I've had friendships where I've experienced both envy and jealousy in the friendship.
At the same time?
At the same time.
Which is why I think, because those are really... The difference between somebody taking something from you and you not having what somebody else has is very, like, it's a thin line.
Yeah.
It's a minute difference between those two. When you experience the full emotion, it's hard to distinguish. So I see why people use it interchangeably, because it's still a possession factor, right? Like, the first one just being, you're taking something that belongs to me, and the other being like, I feel like I should have something that you have. It should belong to me.
And that phrase, I feel like I should have something that you have.
I thought that was, ain't that envy?
No, that is envy. And I think that's why, going back to that clip, that's why I was like the snake in the grass thing, right? If somebody thinks they should have something that you have, listen to how icky that sounds.
Right, but she said jealousy in the clip. She didn't say envy.
She did say
and that's
jealousy.
why I feel like it's an important distinction.
Yeah, it is.
Because you can work through jealousy. I don't know how much you can work through envy. Because that's something I can't control.
I don't think that's...
I cannot control what I have and you don't. But I can control whether I'm giving you what you need. You get what I'm saying?
And it's like, how much time is it going to take... If you want something that I have that you don't have, how much time is it going to take before that emotion overtakes you? Like, that's why envy is known as the green-eyed monster, because it's like, I feel like envy is such a monstrous emotion compared to jealousy.
Why monstrous? That's an interesting
Because,
adjective.
like, I want something that you have that I don't have.
I think because it can consume you.
Because it's a straight scarcity mindset. Who, like, when you think of two people fighting for something, right? Two people fighting for food.
Okay.
One has ate today, one has not ate today.
Okay.
Who you think gonna win that battle over that food?
The one who ate.
Right?
But the one who ate might not be fighting anyway, but that's a whole nother.
Correct. You're not even fighting for it. So here you have somebody sitting there like, I don't got that. And I want that. Like, it's just, there's a level of like, grr to like.
I love when we talk about stuff and you can only describe it.
Yeah,
with
because it's like, it's a level
phrases
of like
and sounds.
Like hunger and like scarcity.
Greed.
It's all around that scarcity mindset. Like, it's a level of greed to like that envy. So both are rooted in a lack or scarcity mindset, which is why I feel like people use them interchangeably, because it's either like you feel like you don't have something good enough, like, because with the jealousy thing, it's a self-worth thing, right?
Yeah.
I am worried that who I am isn't enough for this person and that somebody else may take them away from me. Or who I am isn't worthy enough for this job and somebody else may take it away from me. So you're having like a scarcity within yourself, whereas like I want what they have because I don't have it. It's like you have a scarcity within your environment or whatever like that. But both of it coming from a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, definitely rooted in lack, like driven by the perception that there's something lacking with you.
And that lack mindset will get you each and every time.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so my next question for you is, have you ever felt jealous? And if so, what triggered it? And because we talked about jealousy and envy, you can talk about either one.
Okay. You know, I feel like the last time I felt anything close to jealousy, and my best friend and I talk about this all the time, in high school, we were really close. Like, we met in middle school. That's the last time. I'm talking like decades. Like, I don't remember the last time I felt it before then. But
of which emotion?
Jealousy.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever felt envy, to be honest. I don't think I've ever felt like somebody had something that I didn't have access to or that God wouldn't provide. That's just how I was raised.
When Jesus said,
I'm just being honest. Even
no.
if it looks, my mom has always been, she's deeply spiritual, and she's always been like, don't rely on your perception of reality.
Yeah.
Like, know what God has for you. So envy is hard for me to honestly like empathize with. Because I've never experienced like, oh, you got something that, you know, I should have. Like, if you got it right now and I don't have it, it just means it's not my time. But it's coming. Like, you know, like if it's something that I value, that's just my perspective on envy. But jealousy, the immature experience I had of jealousy was like developing friendships. So I agree with you around the relationship piece. It comes up very clearly there. And her and I had met in middle school. We were really close friends, and she was like you. You know, like very sociable, very personable. I've always been more quiet and reserved. Sociable. And so she'd make friends, and we talk about it to this day as adults. And she's like, girl, I wasn't even trying to make those friends. They just came around me. But my perception of it at the time was like, y'all taking my friend. So I went to her like, why are you friends with them? Like, we were on the bus. I remember this. I was like, Tiff, you like, why are you friends with
this was
like
in high school, right?
Yeah, like
this
going
is
into
such a high school
it's a high school thing. That's what's like, as an adult, I don't feel it.
That's
like,
why I hate when people
it's such an immature
do that
emotion.
as an adult.
It's immature
with friendships, because facts, in high school we definitely was moving
It's
around like,
as fuck.
why are you friends with that girl? You my friend first. Listen, if you my best
but
friend,
you know
you
what's
can't
so
be best
funny
friends with
about
nobody
it?
else, like,
right? And she's such a Sagittarius about it.
Oh,
she
she's
was
a Sag. Oh,
and she was
I know
like,
her ass personable as hell.
people love her. I be like, God damn.
I'm trying to take my friend.
She's mine. Leave her alone. And she don't care. She don't be investing anyway. Yeah. But I remember like the exchange, and when we reflect on it, she was like, yeah, I just didn't even understand what you were talking about. Her reaction to me when I said it at the time was like, we're not really friends. She's like, what are you? You're misperceiving this completely. But I'm not friends with them.
I promise
like, they just
you,
like me. They just come around, you know?
I promise you, literally.
Like, it's okay.
That was a conversation I've just had.
Really?
This year.
That would.
And that's why it pissed me off so much. Because it was like, I'm a sociable person. All of these people be friends with me.
We grown.
Like, and if the people who know me,
we got real bills and responsibilities. Like, why are you coming to me?
Come on. Don't come to me with this. Why you hang out with them all the time? Because they keep inviting me places, and I like to be outside. When
what are we really talking
outside,
about?
Boys, I related to that.
What are we talking about?
I listened to the song and said, yes, I like to be back outside. Okay?
She was really mad she wasn't getting invites.
And it was like, if that was the case, You should have just said that.
That's what it really was.
I be hitting up.
Because that don't make sense.
Just this week, I hit up like 2 of my friends, and because I hadn't hung out in a while with them, and I was like, I miss you. We need to hang out. That's it. That's it. You just got to be vulnerable about it.
I don't think it's vulnerable. I don't think it's even being vulnerable. I think you just have to be mature. Like, and be able to manage and regulate your own emotions. And, like, if you're feeling jealousy, acknowledge it and deal with it in yourself. Don't go to the person.
And that's how I navigate to this question. Mm-hmm. I felt both jealousy and I felt envy on a wide scale. Never on a 1-to-1 scale.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Never on a 1-to-1 scale.
More like collective.
More of a collective of envy. Like, so my collective envy would look like, when it comes to like romantic relationships, for the longest time, I hadn't been in romantic relationships because I don't like to deal with bullshit.
I thought she was gonna say people.
No, I don't like me either. I don't like to deal with bullshit. So like, I was always envious. This is gonna sound so crazy. What? I was always envious that I didn't have the level of delusion and bandwidth that other women have to put up with bullshit so that they could stay in a romantic relationship.
But remember, the root of envy is feeling like what somebody else has, you should have. So you felt like you should have that bam. Okay.
Yeah, like I was sitting there like, why am I not the delusional? Like, I want to be that delusional.
I want to put up with bullshit so I can be in a relationship.
Facts. Like so like, I knew the shit sounded crazy when I started off. I knew this was going to sound crazy.
I appreciate the honesty though.
But it is what it is. Like, I and still to this day,
like, I want a relationship so bad that I want to be able to put up with bullshit.
Thank you. Like, so I could post pictures on the gram with my man. Like, and don't get me wrong, to this day, now I'm glad that I was patient about it and I worked on myself because it helped me attract better into my life. But nah, I was 24 years old, like, all these bitches in relationships, and I'm just sitting here cutting men off. Like, why can't I be delusional? This is what I want. Like, and so that was my envy on a wide scale. Okay. When it comes to jealousy, like, I absolutely be experiencing jealousy in romantic relationships, but the difference between me and other women, or other people, period, not even other women, is that, like, I'm not going to, like, I don't harp on it. Like, I don't.
So like, you feel it and just let it pass? Or?
Yeah, like, because in romantic relationships, like, I think a little bit of jealousy possession is healthy. Like, I get a little, like, stimulation from it. Like, so, like,
strong Scorpio placement.
I'm over here like, I got a lot of Scorpio in my chart, man. So, like, you know, like, if I notice that women are on his body or whatever like that, like, especially if I trust that man, I don't be like, I'll feel like a little bit of jealousy, but it would just remind me of, like, dang, this is what I got. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's so funny because the other day I was listening to Beyonce's song where she be like, it's Ring the Alarm. She gonna wear the VVS clothes, I let you go. Because I'm never letting you go. I'm not coming up off you. So they could try. I'm not coming up off you. So, like, that's where my jealousy happens in relationships. In friendships, I used to, like, back on the high school stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
I used to feel like, oh, you're taking my friend away from me. Or I used to feel like why you not as close to me as you are to her. People, but the older I got, the more I realized my aura is so enveloping that, like, oh, I could just get more friends. Like, I could just get more friends.
Facts.
Like, it is not, and it won't change the value of our relationship. My best friend, my sis, my girl, like, been my girl since we were young. We don't hang out all the time.
Yeah.
We don't plan trips all the time.
My best friend lives in Houston.
We don't. My best friend lives in Charlotte.
We
don't talk on the phone all the time. But let me tell you something. It don't matter how many of these girls I hang out with. None of them could ever take her place.
Yeah.
None of them could ever take her place.
And I think that goes.
And she knows that, so she's never on some, like, jealous stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I appreciate. I appreciate that you know that. Like. So you,
but that's taking time. That goes back to, like, the standards we were talking about before. Like, you value that relationship in a different way. Like it's grown. The standards are different for you and her.
Yeah.
Because that friendship is different for you and her versus if you going into it thinking like, or somebody coming into your life thinking they about to have that. It's like, no, years have been invested in this. Mm-hmm. You know how many resources? Yeah, like you're not about to grow that fast. On. Like, how dare you feel entitled to something that we've invested years into?
And don't feel entitled to me like you my man.
Yeah.
You not my man.
You in this...
The only person who can feel entitled to me is my man.
The only person who feel entitled to me is my husband.
Like,
you be my man, but... Okay. My man. Okay. You mean your person? Remember that time? Last episode, you was like, my person.
What did I not want to say?
That your person. You refer to him as your person.
Oh, that was gross.
Yeah, whatever. So what's next?
Oh, you know what else I wanted to say, though? Like,
what?
How do you be feeling when you tell somebody, like, let's talk about that feeling when you tell somebody good news, and instead of saying congratulations or something like that, they'd be like, oh, I wish I was doing that.
I can't relate.
That's never happened to you?
I don't engage with people. Like, if I see that you or that, I'm real tight with it.
Yeah.
You know that. Yeah. You know that about me.
Yeah.
Like, like, I don't even have words. I don't even have words. It's like, sure, what, with who?
Girl.
Like, if I even think that you...
Because imagine you getting a new job.
You way
and
back
you
there,
come
baby.
to me and you be like, oh, my God, girl, I just got a new job at what? And the first thing I say is, oh, I wish I was working there.
Way back there, baby. Like, you way back
damn,
there.
Sis, that's the first thing that came out your
You
mouth.
across the room. Like, we not even close.
You don't think that's weird?
Oh, it's super weird, which is
no,
why
not you. Like, I'm talking to the imaginary person sitting right here.
Like, it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird.
That's the first thing that came out your mouth? These Lego blocks or something? We 5 or something?
But that goes back to our thriving episode and, like, people's capacity.
Yeah.
To, you know, like, they so caught up in their own shit.
Yeah.
That their capacity to even be present for you is limited.
That's why it's just so important to have self-aware people in your life.
Oh, self-awareness is everything. It's everything.
It's important to have self-aware. That's my second value. If transparency is the first value, self-awareness is the second value. Okay. Those two values in a relationship, I feel like any relationship can thrive with those.
I agree. I feel like mine are self-awareness and empathy.
Like,
even if you're not transparent, I feel like if we have empathy and self-awareness in the relationship, like, we can either separately navigate things, or you're gonna understand if I'm like in a place where I'm not maybe showing up the way that you need me to show. You know, those would probably be my top two. Yeah. I think the transparency is a good one though. Yeah.
Okay, so as she just mentioned in the Thriving episode, jealousy robs you of joy. Okay.
For sure.
It robs you of joy. And so no matter if you're experiencing the jealousy yourself over somebody else, or you're having it projected onto you, it severely impacts that relationship either with yourself or with that other person, and it takes the joy out of
That's
your
what
life.
You know what I just thought about when you said
is the thief of joy.
Yes, you know what I just thought about?
What?
Like, the idea that somebody, how twisted and ridiculous it is, because it's like, if you already have joy, if you already have the capacity for positive emotions within yourself, even if it's not the capacity that somebody else has, to even go down the road of letting jealousy or envy take over, you don't value yourself because you already had it. And so you made the choice to give it away to some emotion that just not even going to serve you in any real way. And you damage relationships in the process, and you lose friends in the, like, I think that's to me why I can't fully get with jealous. Like, I might get a spark, but it'd be like,
yeah, facts.
It's too much joy in here. It's too much joy in here.
You can't let the negativity bias win.
It's too much joy in here for that to survive. Like, it suffocates immediately.
Yeah,
because I'm like, why would I even?
People don't have a gratitude practice though.
Yeah,
like, life could be going. You making $300,000. You got a man.
I don't think it's gratitude though. I think it's a sense of wholeness.
But like something is always missing.
Yeah, like, I don't think people, like, most people don't develop a sense of wholeness within themselves. That even if you do feel like something is missing, your perspective of yourself is enough to encompass that emotion and not let it drive you. Like, I don't think you necessarily need a gratitude practice. I think you just need the capacity to feel whole within yourself.
So I think it's the gratitude practice because, like, I feel like to the point of, like, yes, you need to feel whole, but, like, I feel like for most people in this world, something is always missing.
For sure.
You ain't got the man, You ain't got the house. You ain't got the job. You ain't got this. You ain't got that. You ain't got this. You ain't got that. Something is always going to be missing. Especially for us high achieving women, there's always something we want to reach for. There's
Western
always
society.
another goal.
It creates, it's like
the entirety of Western society.
It's designed to be like, hey, you're missing this.
Like, you ain't got enough. If you ain't got enough,
you need more, eat more, buy more, have sex
right?
more. Like, come on
so
now.
if you have a gratitude practice instilled where you're like, yo, I may not have everything that I want, but what I have is so good that I already know abundance mindset. This other is coming in. Yeah. It's coming already.
But that's the activator for you is gratitude practice. That's the activator of wholeness. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think other people just have different activators. It might be their spirituality, some other area of their life. But I do agree, a gratitude practice, like, amplifies that. Yeah. You know, it helps to shift you real quick.
So here's a list of things that jealousy will bring out of you.
This list,
jealousy and envy.
Well,
can you like it started?
I was gonna say, can I share? Like, do I gotta say the sub bullet too, or just? I don't know if that was what you were planning to go.
You go with what you feel. I like to flow. You know
so the one that stood out to me was jealousy can spiral into perfectionism, which can be equally as unhealthy. Human beings do have limitations and constraints, and there's no one size fits all definition of what it is to be perfect. And you obviously know my tattoo and like my perspective. That's why that one stood out to me, because that lack mindset just triggers you into a spiral. To me, I see perfectionism as a spiral. It's not like, oh, you experience perfectionism once. It's like a mindset you kind of get into, and it's really hard to get out of. Yeah. So that's why that one is like, jealousy just seems to be a trigger that puts you into so many other unhealthy things that makes it even harder to dig yourself out of. Yeah. When you could just deal with it to begin with. Yeah. Like, that's just generally my perspective. Like, I don't even want to deal with perfectionism. Do you know how much work I put into fighting perfectionism?
That's a fact.
I don't want to deal with it.
And it really, perfectionism and jealousy really go hand in hand in the sense of like, because I battle with perfectionism too. And because I'm always striving to be perfect, now I really feel like my shit can be taken away from me because I'm not good enough, right? It's a self-worth thing. I'm not good enough. I'm not at that spot yet, so I know this can be taken away from me. Or I'm not at that spot yet, so now I want to covet with somebody else, because if I just had that,
or I don't have that thing perfect. Yet. And
that goes hand in hand.
I can see that. Yeah, that one definitely stood out to me.
Next, which goes hand in hand with perfectionism, you're never satisfied with who you are or what you have. That's that gratitude thing. Like, you don't think you're worthy as who you are. And I think on journeys of self-love, a lot of people like think that the healing journey is always about being perfect or reaching this state of, I am so healthy and I am so healed and
that's why I
said
wholeness. Like, that's why that's the core of everything that I like. Coaching, all this stuff is like, if you can develop a sense of wholeness and a sense of resilience, because the stuff that you're talking about,
no matter where you are on the healing journey, no matter where, even if you just started, you're worthy. You're whole. You're already,
you're perfect. You're complete.
Already where you are, and like, so that never being satisfied with who you are, what you have. Jealousy can push away the ones you love the most. I'll tell you that right now. Jealousy in at least friendships, it absolutely pushes me away.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I just recently like deprioritized a friendship over jealousy. Yeah. And I think it's just generally a mindset that comes with when you allow jealousy to permeate and you become labeled as a jealous person. Other stuff comes with that too. It's just uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
Don't nobody want to deal with it.
That's just it. And for me, like, it pushes me away because it's like, every single one of your wins is my win too. I am rooting for you. My role in people's lives that I gladly
root for everybody black
is cheerleading. Yes, I'm rooting for everybody black. You tell me some good news and I'm acting like God done give it to me. Yeah. Because I'm so happy for you. So when somebody feels jealous of me, it's like, dang, you bypassed the whole I'm happy for you emotion. Like, you bypassed that whole shit and made it about you. Crazy. Crazy to me. I just can't relate, and maybe I need to work on my empathy chip when it comes to that, but I can't relate.
If that's where you are, and I'm going back to the whole wholeness piece of that's where you are. That's what it is. Can't relate. It doesn't devalue you because you're not a super, you know, like, you don't gotta, everybody don't have to be at the same level with everything.
Amen. Period. Oh. What's the next one that resonated with you?
So I think you mentioned the pushing away people you love the most. I think the next one after that would probably be like jealousy can cause you to shrink your sense of self. You end up searching for validation in others and shrink yourself and you don't receive it. I think that's implied. Yeah, like I don't think it shrinks yourself. You are already small.
Yeah.
Like, so it just makes you stay small is how I saw that one. Like it keeps you small.
That's a good one actually, because like it's really like with the shrink yourself part, like you're if it's jealousy in a relationship, you're shrinking your own place in my life.
Yeah.
Like instead of seeing yourself as like that person and like, oh, I know what I mean to this person, like you're shrinking your own place in my life before I even got a chance to do it.
That's why I was like, you're giving away your joy. That if you inherently have at least a little bit of something, choosing that is like you are giving it away and lowering your capacity.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Minimizing who you are. All of this, I mean, at the end of the day,
that's what thank you.
At the end of the day.
Which is why I cannot relate.
Yeah. All of this is a self-worth issue.
Yep.
All of this is a self-worth issue. And so it seems like the solution to jealousy
love
and envy
yourself.
is to love yourself. That's it. Self-love is always the answer.
Yeah.
And most people don't know like what to do on the self-love journey or whatever like that. How do I get started? How do I love myself? I thought I already loved myself. Honestly, if you're feeling jealousy and you're feeling envy, like, and we could go to the recommendation part, but like,
well, I think there was another question in there, but let's go to recommendations.
Yeah, let's go to the recommendation part, and then we can we'll finish back to the closing question with that.
Wow.
So like, I think that like, I don't even have this recommendation down, but if you're feeling some type of way, like you're feeling jealous, you're feeling envy, it's a self-worth issue, it's a self-love issue. I want you to write a list of things about why you are that valuable, the value you bring to it. So let's say you're jealous over like you think somebody else can take your job. You're like, oh, they better at project managing than me. If we both go for this senior project manager role, they're definitely gonna, because they're just better at that than me.
Or if they get it,
you're like, oh, I'm jealous. I want that. Like, why ain't I need you to write down all of the list of reasons why you are that person when it comes to project management, the value you bring to your company, the value you bring to that project, to the space that you're in. You really have to you really got to lay your value down, because when you start to let the outside world, whether it's a job, what you have, who your friends are, who your partner is, when you start to let those things determine what your value are, you're already playing a losing game. If you live in a house,
when your value comes from outside of yourself.
Literally, when we talk about gentrification and people coming in and buying up homes, right? When you living in that home and you thinking, dang, my home is only worth $300,000. So somebody, real estate agent, white real estate agent comes to bedside, sees your brownstone, and is like, well, I got $400,000 for you for that home. Guess what? It's worth $1.2 million.
Yeah.
All it needed was some trees and some acknowledgement from you.
Some acknowledgement.
Right? A couple of trees in the front yard.
Some investment and acknowledgement from you. So when it comes to your self-worth, invest and acknowledge yourself. I see you, sis, with the metaphor. You did that. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So that, I think, is a great recommendation. Yeah. You have a recommendation for the people? For jealousy? Yeah, I think it goes back to one of the things that was mentioned in the examples. I didn't say it out loud, but mindfulness. I think the more that you can be present and just hold space for whatever comes up. So for me, my practice around things like jealousy or quote unquote negative emotions, I actually reframe that. My practice around uncomfortable emotions is to hold space for them in non-judgment.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend for anybody who feeling jealousy. Like, let yourself fully feel it and just hold space for it. You don't got to talk to nobody. You don't got to bring it up. You don't have to acknowledge it outside of yourself. Just sit with it. Sit with it. Because I think if you just sit with it, being uncomfortable, these things that Thevi's talking about will start to arise for you. You'll naturally start to question certain things that you maybe wouldn't question if your mind had the opportunity to go down this path of everything that's wrong or everything you deserve. And you know how it gets with the perfectionism and the, trying to control and manipulate stuff because you feel jealous. Like, no, just give it some space and don't judge it. Don't judge it. It's just a feeling. And I think more broadly, that is something that we all should be better with in like life and society, is not allowing and ascribing all this value to emotions. Like, they're powerful, they're intended for you to navigate life, but they're not who you are.
Yeah.
Your emotions is not you. You become a jealous person when you let jealousy drive
Become you.
how you're interacting with people.
And now you projecting it onto somebody else because you couldn't just take the time to sit with, oh, dang, I feel jealous. I wonder why that is.
And do I want to give this emotion any more energy or power? And the answer is no, and then you can go off and it's like no one will ever know.
Because that's really what I be doing. Like, the jealousy will come up in a relationship or whatever
and
like
be
that.
like, nah.
And literally,
That's me.
literally, the jealousy will come up. I be like, Debbie, you tripping. Stop playing, girl. And I keep it moving. I
be like, nah, sis, not today.
Because once you sit in that emotion for too long, you start to let it spiral.
But the first time you felt it and interacted with it, you probably gave it more space. You were able to dismiss it down because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the first time, but I'm always sitting with myself to be like, Debbie, why do you feel this way? Like, you got to figure this out because if you don't figure this out now, it's going to come out. You're going to
come back up. Yeah, and it's going to come back up.
And it's going to come back up for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling jealousy from somebody else, my recommendation for that is you have to be clear about what your boundaries are. Like, so.
Yeah, I think that's what they didn't really talk about in the
clip.
They
didn't.
They just jumped straight to like, that person can't be in my life. And I feel like I agree with you. You just need to establish new boundaries.
Facts. Like, first things first, keep it a bandwidth. Like, hey, you good? Like, I'm noticing some tense like energy in our interactions,
or just I'm uncomfortable.
I want to give space for us to talk about this because I like to be real shit. Like, let's give space to talk about it, right? Y'all talk about it. If that person is able to be transparent with you about it, great. That means maybe y'all can reach a solution. That's great. That's not even somebody to dub because that's literally great that they were able to be transparent with you about it, even if they didn't come to you with it first.
Yeah.
If they're not able to be transparent about it, you can't control them. So now you got to figure out what you gonna do. Don't sit there
and what you're not gonna do,
and what you're not gonna do, right? Like, that is not the space for you to be like, well, I know you're jealous of me, and you need to work on yourself, and you need to. They're going through their own shit. They got their little journey they gotta go through. They gotta figure it out themselves. You can now decide, how much do I want to engage in this? In what ways am I comfortable engaging in this? How much space do I need to? All of that is for you to determine when it comes to your life. It is not for them to determine or for you to give them instruction on what they need to do.
I think it goes back to what you were mentioning earlier. Is like, even acknowledging what you share. I mean, you shared it from the different perspective of like, now if I feel like I don't want to share something, but I think that's another perspective of boundaries. If somebody's feeling jealous of you, you can just choose what to share with them and what not to share. You can choose how much you engage with them and monitor your emotions and be mindful of like, okay, if it's coming out in certain situations, these are just not situations I'm gonna be around this person in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, because like, listen, it wasn't for me because that relationship was so deep to me. But all the time in my like regular more service version, I'd be like, okay, you talk to her about that. You talk to her about that. Can't talk to her about that. Like, that's it. Like, and that's just how you navigate life, period.
Yeah.
Okay, so our affirmations. Go ahead.
Real quick, just want to say one thing you have in here that I don't think you explicitly said.
What?
I love it. Above all else, always protect your peace.
Ooh, come on.
I just want to put that out there for
somebody.
That was for somebody.
That was for somebody.
Okay, we having church in here today. That was for somebody.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, I think that's like the precipice of our journeys to joy,
especially
right?
around jealousy and envy.
Absolutely.
Protect your peace.
We always protect your peace.
Protect your joy.
Because like I said, Michelle Obama was able to do it for 7 years. Me and her, we on a 3-month timeline most times. And maybe it'll get longer in the future, but we on a 3-month timeline sometimes. Like, so that's just what it is.
Okay, and so the affirmation. I like this
queen.
affirmation. I know I got you, sis. I'm just, trying to support appropriately. Pull my weight in this.
You've been doing a good job, okay?
Thanks, boo. I freely express who I am. It is my birthright to express myself in ways that are fulfilling to me. It is my birthright to express myself in ways that are fulfilling to me. I like that.
I love that. And this second one, because we didn't talk about this a lot, which is forgiveness.
We mentioned it, hit it on it with the empathy and the compassion, but
so this affirmation is, I affirm that I am totally willing to forgive everyone. I release from within me all bitterness and resentment. I let go of old hurts and forgive everyone, including myself.
Shout out to Louise.
Okay. So don't let like some jealousy coming up in a friendship. If that person is willing to work with you about it, please give people space. Give people space to grow. Give people space to like communicate with you. That's really what it's about. If somebody don't want to come to you and be transparent and be open, and they don't even create a space for you to be able to forgive them, okay, dub it. But like dub it. But when people create space or try to lend you a hand or try to open up to you, be willing to forgive them, because you don't want that energy to carry on to future friendships or future relationships, and you side eyeing everybody. You know? So
forgive freely. All right. This was a good conversation.
It was. I really enjoyed this. Shout out to the See the Thing Is podcast again for having this discussion.
And let us know what your journey around jealousy and envy is in your relationships. We want to hear some of your best practices and what your journey has been like.
Yep.
All right. Peace.
See y'all next time.
All right.
Right on time.